Hey everybody, it is your straight shooter Army recruiter. I'm Sergeant First Class Peters from the Petoskey Army Recruiting Station, and today we're going to talk about recruiters. What are Army recruiters? What are military recruiters, for that matter? That pause was necessary. Let you think in your own mind, what comes to mind when you hear the term military recruiter. I'm sure there's probably some negative stereotypes that popped up. We're going to talk about those today. So, I know for me, I used to have some pretty bad stereotypes in my mind about what recruiters were. Why? I don't even know why I felt the way I did about military recruiters. I had a great recruiter. Anyways, there's an order to things. Number one, I want to address some myths out there about recruiters, about what they are, about what they do, about why they do what they do. Okay? Is that okay with you guys? I think it's okay with you guys because you're not going to answer back because this isn't live. So, the first myth is that recruiters are all liars. Let's go ahead and throw that out there right now. Suppose military recruiters are all liars. Just suppose that. All right, suppose I give you that. This is the information age, right? In the last, 20 years, we've had internet. I remember 20 years ago, almost every house had internet in it. Granted, 20 years ago, you probably couldn't use a phone and internet at the same time. That might boggle the mind for some of you, but that's okay. So, in the last 20 years, if you've been listening in the last 20 years and you feel that your recruiter lied to you about something, this is the information age. Literally, right now I'm recording a video on a device that holds all of the knowledge of mankind in it. Anything I could possibly want to know. Most of the time, I use that device to argue with strangers on social media, but that's not the point. Anything I could want to know. I look up stupid stuff all the time, Venus flytraps, where are they from? Oh, the Carolinas, that's pretty cool. I thought it was somewhere exotic, but I look up stuff like that all the time, and I'm sure you guys do too, because we're not so different. But suppose military recruiters are liars. How are you not able to fact check anything a recruiter tells you? I get questions to me all the time, and it's just from inquiring minds, hey, I heard this about the military, is this true? And I'm so glad I get those kinds of questions because it gives me an opportunity to dispel those myths and even tell you where you can go read for yourself whether or not those are accurate things. So I give you references. But if military recruiters are all liars, one, nobody would be enlisting in the military, right? Why would you want to work with a liar? There's so many different ways to address that, but if you strongly feel that military recruiters are liars, I challenge you, when you come into a military recruiting station, bring a list of questions that you've already looked up, okay? And you can do this with me, I don't care. Look up questions about the military, things that you really want an answer to, and when you come into my recruiting station and meet with me, ask me those questions. If you know the answers to them, I should be able to give you similar answers that kind of match, right? Especially if you looked up on accurate sources and you're hey, so if I were to enlist in the military in this particular career field, what would my duties be like? They should match, right? Your answers that you looked up and the answers I give you should match, right? So if military recruiters are liars, do that. If they're not liars, stop calling them liars. Nobody likes being called that. So anyways, that's one of the ones that really chaps me because I'm a man of integrity. When I go home and I change into my civilian clothing and I'm David instead of Sergeant Peters, that doesn't follow me. People don't go, oh, David, you're a liar. Why am I a liar? Because you're named David, everybody named David's a liar. Nobody really does that. But military recruiters have that weird stigma about them that oh, you must be a liar because you're a recruiter. Man, that's a weird one. And I know that I'm just a drop in the bucket when it comes to a whole stigma against military recruiters. But I would hope that if you meet with me and discuss with me about things, even if you don't join the military, that you may be pleasantly surprised to find out that we're pretty honest people. So anyways, moving on to the next myth, right? And that's recruiters get a bonus when they enlist you. Money, money, money. So I don't know where that came from. I really don't. But I've been in recruiting for 8 years. That's a lot of people that joined the military through me. And I just have a question for the Army. Where's my money? Like, I ain't once gotten a bonus for enlisting nobody. Like, there's a bunch of people that I enlisted to the Army that are on my, friends list and various social media channels. Hey, I didn't get paid, so like, I don't know if you supposed to pay me, guy, or like what. I ain't gotten a bonus. So anyways, recruiters get bonuses. So let's pause. Suppose military recruiters do get some kind of weird commission for you enlisting. Suppose that's the case. That's a weird incentive they would have to lie to people, right? Which I just kind of said in the first myth, that that's not a real thing. But man, if recruiters had an incentive to lie to you, and this is the age of information, you don't have to enlist. Isn't that weird? I mean, why would you if you caught your recruiter in a lie, then say, I trust you enough to like go ahead and like help me decide the next like 3 to 5 years of my life? You wouldn't do it, right? Also, let's suppose that recruiters do get a bonus, okay? Just throwing it out there. Suppose they do, which they don't, but suppose they do. Why would you let someone else having the possibility of success keep you from achieving your own success? Like, that's weird. I mean, that's petty, but that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, I know that the Army pays for your college. That's expensive. Like, for me, like, my college classes are $1,000 a piece after scholarships are applied, and the Army pays for them. Like, no question that. I pay $0 for my college classes. That's a lot of money, like, just dumped into my education. So let's take, the average cost of a college education, right? And we'll just go with a bachelor's degree, okay? That's a ton of money. Do you think a recruiter is getting that kind of a bonus to enlist you? Like, don't flatter yourself. You ain't worth that kind of money when it comes to bonuses. Like, the Army isn't gonna go, hey, Sergeant Peters, you enlisted that guy, John Smith. It's like $200,000 worth, buddy. You're gonna be eating good. It's like, no, I don't get a bonus like that. But even if I did, what would you assume would be a good bonus? All right, because like if we're bouncing ideas here, Army, if you're listening, what would you think I should get? Like, if I were to enlist you, $100, $500, like, don't get me wrong, I get paid really well in the Army, but if I found a $20 bill on the ground, like, I ain't gonna complain. So, I mean, if you got an idea on like what bonuses I should be getting, like, let me hear them. Also, if you have a question about whether or not recruiters get military like bonuses for enlisting people, ask to see a pay stub. I mean, not every recruiter is gonna be like, yeah, sure, let me just show you right here, but I will. Like, I'll show you. Like, go ahead, look at my leave and earnings statement. I want you to tell me where I made a bonus for enlisting somebody, because it ain't on there. But anyways, like, yeah, I just couldn't help but think that if recruiters did get a bonus, right, that you would go, I know it's a really good deal, but I really don't want that guy to get however much the bonus is, because, well, I don't know. So anyways, I'm just going to stay where I'm at. I know the Army has all those benefits and opportunities because, well, I met with my recruiter and he showed them to me, but I don't want him to get like $300. So I'm just not going to enlist. That's such a weird thing. Like, I don't know where it came from, but hey, if your recruiter got a bonus, can you like have that guy like shoot me a message on social media or something like that? I gotta ask him how he did it. Recruiters don't get bonuses for enlisting people. Which brings me to myth number 3, that military recruiters only target poor or impoverished or people in bad circumstances. Why? Like, what's the point there? So when you look at where recruiting stations are, right, they're in every major metropolitan city. You have a recruiting station there, but a lot of social media channels that have their own videos and stuff like that are of a certain political leaning. I won't say which one's which because I'm not that smart. They like to point out that military recruiters will target poor or impoverished people. I don't know how that's true. What I have to look for, here's what a military recruiter is looking for: fit, resilient volunteers of character, ages 17 to 24. Those are the people that we kind of want, with a high school diploma, or currently on track to get their high school diploma, or college experience. Like, that's what I want. So nowhere in that is there like a monetary like income level that we want. Like, hey, all of you making less than $40,000 a year, I want you. We don't have those types of targets for that. Do you get a bonus if you enlist? Some jobs, yeah. But that's not based on your income. That's based on, hey, we really need people to fill this job over here, so would you be willing to take it? I know it's not your number one pick, but with $20,000, like, sweeten the pot a little bit, make you go, okay, yeah, it's not my number one pick, but I'll do it for 20 G's. That's how bonuses kind of are, set. Or another type of bonus is like a ship bonus, as in like, hey, this job leaves in 3 weeks. I know you want to wait like 6 months, but this job's leaving in 3 weeks, and the Army's willing to pay you like $30,000 to leave in 3 weeks. Does that work for you? That's how they are. We're not going to go, wait. Can I see your W-2? I got to look at how much you made last year, and that's going to determine like what you can do in the Army. It's just a weird thing. We don't do that. Like, what we're looking for is fit, resilient volunteers of character. And if that's you, regardless of your income level, let's talk. We might be able to help you out. Hell, you might be able to bring something to the Army that we're looking for. I don't know. But we won't know unless you and I have that conversation, right? So there's some myths out there. But what does a recruiter actually do, though? All right? I gave y'all 3 myths that are kind of out there that people think of when they think of military recruiters, excuse me. But now, what is it that a military recruiter actually does? They facilitate the enlistment process. And what does that mean? That's a really fancy way of like being vague for me, right? No, what I do is I find somebody who has questions about the military. Like, maybe they're already interested in joining the military, or maybe they're like, I don't know, I have like lots of different options I'm weighing through. I just want to kind of see what the Army could offer me and compare and contrast, right? Great idea. I love it. I sit down, I perform a job interview. So I have to assess your qualifications to determine if you're even meeting the standard for the Army. If you are, great. I'm going to ask you what your goals are, ask you what your plans are. I'm going to ask you all these different questions, and I'm going to display opportunities in the Army that'll help you, they align with your goals, achieve them, right? Because 5 years from now, suppose you just finished your Army enlistment contract, I want you to be like better than how you were before you came into the service. That's what I want. I'm sure that's what you want. That's what the Army wants, right? It doesn't do me any good to go, I know you meet the Army standards, and yeah, you're a terrible human being, so I want to put you into the service where other people have to like work with you and sometimes even rely on you because you're unreliable. Like, no, I have to assess your qualifications, determine whether or not you meet the Army standards, and if you and the Army's like goals align with each other, that's awesome. Once you say, you know what, sign me up, I'm committed. I don't sign you up. I process all of your paperwork. You sign you up. You don't even do it in my recruiting station. You can't join the Army in the recruiting station. You actually have to go to a third party called the Military Entrance Processing Station, which is another video for another day. But that third party is the one who's going to look over the paperwork I did with you and make sure that you're 100% qualified for service. There's no fraud going on. I didn't like sign your paperwork for you or anything else weird like that. And then they're going to look at you in person. You're going to go down there. Anyways, long story short, after you're done at the MEPS, you enlist, you take the oath of enlistment, you sign your contract and all that, and then you come back to me, and I'm like, hey, good job, I'm really proud of you, now let's get you ready for boot camp. And then we get you ready for boot camp, and then you ship out. And then I'm like your elementary school teacher, seeing you off to middle school, and I'm like, bye. hopefully you stay in touch. That's my job, right? Determine qualifications and facilitate the enlistment process and assist in you shipping out to boot camp. I'm also an ambassador to your community. What is that? That's another vague term. Sergeant Peters, you just being all kinds of vague today. By being an ambassador to your community, what that means is a lot of times recruiters are going to be in areas where there's no military presence whatsoever, right? The only military presence is like part-time military units that might be in the area or a recruiter. So the active duty military that sent me here, it's like, hey, we want you to represent the Army in your community. Do that through a variety of different things. Be involved in community programs that are going on. Volunteer with various things, maybe with schools as a coach in sports programs or what have you. In any way, shape, or form, better the community by being in it. That's what being an ambassador is about, right? When people think of the word Army in my area, I should come to mind. Hey, I know an Army guy, Sergeant Peters, it's up Petoskey. That's part of my job, right? So when people ask what is it that a recruiter does, you can tell them. They facilitate the enlistment process, they assist people in shipping out to boot camp, and they're ambassadors to the community on behalf of the Army. You're probably not going to say all that, but that's okay. That's what my job is. So part of finding people who may have questions about military service, that's where we get tricky. And I really hope you stuck around this long in the video, because this is where it gets good. As if before wasn't good enough, but whatever. It's fine. Military recruiters, a lot of times people, they dread having to come talk to us. They're like, ugh. Army recruiters, they're like, I got a message from a recruiter, I'm not going to answer it. Like, they're kind of like salesmen, right? I'm the same way. When salesmen hit me up, like whether it's in Facebook Messenger or phone calls or text message, I'm like, yes, I know you sell that product. If I need that product, I'll come to you. But they got to put food on their table, right? So a salesman, they got to reach out to people, right? And they're going to be reaching out to tons of people in order to find like that one or two people that will buy the product. Military recruiters, we kind of got to do the same thing. And this is where like it does become similar with salespeople. We have to find that person who might be interested in actually meeting and discussing things about the Army. How am I going to do that? I haven't mastered the art of getting you guys to come to me. I wish I could do that. I wish I didn't have to like call people or send Facebook messages or anything else. But long story short, I have to. But I noticed that with a lot of these videos that I put out, I actually get a lot of you to come to me. And not that I'm just casting the bait and just waiting, but if I put out this video with information and I tell you kind of what I do, that might, for some of you, go, oh yeah, I know an Army recruiter guy, he might be able to help me out. I've had people from various states contact me, from areas like all over the state of Michigan, hit me up and they're like, hey, I know you're a recruiter, I've seen some of your videos, which is really awesome, first of all. Can you help me enlist? Maybe. Let's facilitate the enlistment process, right? I'll see what I can do. But by putting out these videos, you guys are able to kind of spread the word along with me. I don't want to have to call people. I don't want to have to send Facebook messages. I know you guys don't like receiving phone calls or text messages or Facebook messages from random recruiters going, hey, you want to join the military? Yeah, believe me, your recruiters, they're on the same boat with you. They don't want to have to do that. So by putting out this video, I hope that it reaches somebody out there who might go, you know, I had an idea about military recruiters. Apparently, according to Sergeant Peters, are wrong. My challenge still stands. All right, by the way, if you guys want to write down questions, research them, have your answers written down, and then come ask me those questions. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to play your game. But I appreciate those of you who stuck around. I know it's kind of a long video, and most people didn't want to watch like 20 minutes of Sergeant Peters talking to a cell phone, but I appreciate those of you who stuck around, those of you who watch, who like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Straight Shooter Army Recruiter. You guys are real MVPs, and those of you who share this on other social media platforms, I really appreciate it. Feel free to drop comments in the comment boxes. I like reading them. I will respond. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and the next video should be about military scams. So thanks guys. Bye-bye.